Let's start with the truth the data keeps whispering. Our numbers are getting smaller. In 1990, the average black woman had about 2.5 children. By 2025, it's fewer than 1.5. That's not just a statistic, that's a signal. When you stack the cost of housing, childcare, and education on top of wages that haven't moved in 20 years, it's easy to see why young families are pausing. The American dream got expensive, and stability turned into a luxury. By mid-century, immigration will keep our total population steady, but the native-born birth rate will sit around 1.1. Smaller households, quieter neighborhoods, and a generation that's thinner than the one before it. It's not about people losing faith in family. It's about the system losing affordability. When survival costs this much, multiplication becomes a math problem no calculator can solve. Marriage used to be the institution that built the black middle class. 2 paychecks, 1 roof, shared ambition. Now, it feels like an advanced degree elective few can afford. In 1960, 6 out of 10 black adults were married. Today, fewer than 3 are. By 2050, it could be closer to 2. Not because love disappeared, but because economics and expectation rewrote the rules. Black women are graduating college at twice the rate of black men. Meanwhile, too many brothers are fighting unstable work or legal obstacles that make commitment a risk instead of a reward. So people delay. They say, let me get my life right first. Sometimes that first becomes forever. The future of partnership is later, leaner, and often informal. More co-parenting, fewer licenses. The heart still wants connection, but the cost of commitment keeps rising. Fatherless homes gets thrown around like a slogan. But if we treat it as data, not drama, we see something deeper. An economic architecture that disconnects fathers from families. Nearly half of black children live with their mother only, yet many of those fathers remain emotionally and financially involved. The issue isn't apathy, it's access.
Deindustrialization erased the union jobs that once sustained families. Mass incarceration removed entire cohorts of working-age men. Public benefit rules sometimes punished households for living together. You stack all that, and you get absence by design, not by choice. By 2050, only about 1 in 3 black children may grow up with both parents at home. Fixing that isn't about preaching morals, it's about rebuilding the economic floor so love can afford to stay put. Demography has momentum. Once a generation gets smaller, everyone after it shrinks faster. Fewer births mean fewer students, fewer workers, fewer voters, less presence in every measurable space. For Black America, that also means our cultural energy, the youth, the innovation, the music, loses critical mass. But another current is flowing in: immigration. By 2050, roughly 1 in 5 Black Americans will have African or Caribbean roots. That's a remix of identity. New dialects, new rhythms, new entrepreneurship. The question becomes how we blend those currents, native and diaspora, into a single forward motion. Population fallout doesn't just subtract bodies, it adds complexity. Our task is to make that complexity a strength. The American middle class was the cushion between struggle and success. And for Black America, it was proof that progress could be inherited. Today, that cushion is thinning. Around 2000, nearly half of Black households sat in the middle income range. By 2025, it's under 40% and trending toward 1/3 by 2050. Real wages froze while living costs ran a marathon. Automation took the factory jobs. Contracting replaced benefits. Student debt became a lifetime partner. We still talk about buying power, almost $2 trillion in circulation, but most of it exits the community within a day. Spending isn't ownership. By 2050, the Black middle class will survive, but as a smaller, older, more professional tier, teachers, nurses, civil servants, technologists. Holding the line, the wider economy stopped reinforcing. The danger isn't collapse, it's quiet erosion. America's balance sheet is starting to look like a credit card statement that never got paid down. Federal debt now sits higher than the nation's annual income, and the interest bill alone costs more than public education. When Washington tightens its belt, the squeeze always finds the neighborhoods with the least cushion. For Black America, that means the programs that built stability, housing support, grants, job training get trimmed first. Cities with Black majorities feel it twice: weaker schools, potholes that don't get fixed, and nonprofits trying to fill federal gaps with bake sale budgets. By 2050, every dollar the government borrows will compete with the dollar that keeps the lights on in the classroom. The real danger isn't default, it's disinvestment. And when the state steps back, the private market steps in, charging interest for everything from education to healthcare. The result? People living in the world's richest country, but renting their futures on a payment plan. We love to quote that number, Black buying power near $2 trillion. But let's be real, buying power is just motion, not control. The money moves, but it don't stay. 90+% leaves our hands within a day because we don't own the platforms, the pipelines, or the patents. Ownership is the difference between heat and light. Spending burns fast, assets glow steady. If we don't control the land, the code, or the capital, we're spectators in the very economy we fund. By 2050, total Black spending might top $3 trillion, yet the community's share of national wealth could still hover around 3%. The math only changes when the mindset does, when co-ops, credit unions, and digital equity replace consumer pride with producer power. Ownership isn't a slogan anymore, it's the survival metric. Every revolution has a sound. This one hums. Quiet robotics, server farms, and algorithms replacing whole departments while nobody notices. AI doesn't need lunch breaks or healthcare, it just needs electricity. The jobs most exposed, clerical work, transport, retail, have heavy Black participation. We're watching the floor collapse in real time. Without aggressive retraining, a generation risks being pushed out of the wage economy entirely. But there's a flip side. The same tools erasing old jobs can create new ones for those who learn to direct the machines. Coding, cybersecurity, AI ethics, data infrastructure, fields wide open. But they require access, mentorship, and early education that many schools still lack. By 2050, the divide won't be black and white. It'll be coded and uncoded. Those who master the systems will write the checks. Everyone else will wait for the deposit. The 20th century promised a big middle and small edges. The 21st flipped it. Tiny top, vast base. 1% of Americans now hold nearly half of all wealth, and the concentration is accelerating. For the Black community, already fighting a 6-to-1 wealth gap, this is a multiplier of inequality. Assets appreciate faster than wages, and we own fewer assets. That's the quiet arithmetic of exclusion. What grows in the shadow of that imbalance is cynicism. People stop believing the system can change, so they opt out. Less voting, less saving, less faith in mobility. By 2050, if policy doesn't shift, the richest 1% could control more wealth than the bottom 90 combined. That's not capitalism. That's feudalism with better branding. The only antidote is collective capital. Pooling, investing, and building institutions that democratize ownership one neighborhood at a time. America used to set the rhythm. The world danced. Now it's part of the band. China, India, the EU, and a rising Africa each hold their own instruments. The next century will be scored in many keys. For Black America, that's both challenge and invitation. Challenge because a less dominant U.S. means fewer domestic opportunities subsidized by global power. Invitation because diaspora ties suddenly matter.
Lagos, Accra, Kingston, and Atlanta are starting to feel like nodes of the same network. By 2050, trade routes, fintech, and media between these hubs could redefine what global black wealth means. The future isn't isolation, it's alignment. A community that once looked inward must now look across oceans. The multipolar world won't hand out equality, it will reward connection. Whoever learns to move through it, fluent, digital, and collaborative, writes the next chapter of Black prosperity.
The 21st century made the Black experience borderless. Flights got cheaper, the internet got faster, and suddenly Atlanta, Lagos, Kingston, and London were on the same group chat. Every wave of African and Caribbean migration has layered new energy into Black America. What started as culture exchange has become economic exchange. Tech founders from Ghana linking with designers from Atlanta. Logistics brokers in Houston moving Caribbean goods through Gulf ports. By 2050, nearly 1 in 5 Black Americans will be first or second generation immigrant. That means our story will stretch across passports. The opportunity is huge. Global supply chains, tourism circuits, fintech corridors, all powered by people who share culture and ambition. But it requires coordination, not competition. If we treat diaspora like family instead of rival tribes, we can turn global Blackness into global business. The next renaissance won't come from one city. It'll come from the connection between them. Across campuses, conferences, and career hubs, something new is unfolding. Many highly educated Black women, the lawyers, analysts, engineers, and professors our parents prayed we'd raise, are looking beyond national borders for partnership. You see it in Atlanta, D.C., London, Lagos. Degrees travel, expectations travel with them. The data already hint at it. Professional Black women are marrying later, and when they do, an increasing number choose partners from Africa, the Caribbean, or even Europe. Not out of rejection, but out of exposure. Global education and travel expand the pool, and ambition looks for someone fluent in its language. But the question is bigger than romance. What does it mean when the daughters of the African American middle class, products of HBCUs, corporate ladders, and social movements, start forming families across the Atlantic? Is this the birth of a wider, Pan-African elite that finally reconnects scattered histories? Or is it another sign that home no longer feels like home, that economic and emotional compatibility have become global imports because local trust keeps breaking down? The 2050 mindset is simple. We can't outsource our future. Every policy, every app, every classroom, every block we rebuild has to reflect an ownership mentality. We are no longer waiting on a savior. We're designing systems. The future isn't premised, but it is programmable. The world is multipolar now, but that also means opportunity is multidirectional. The tools are in our hands: technology, education, culture, diaspora networks. The next generation just needs alignment and discipline.